Alright, a couple of things I need to fix. My bolt is too long, no big deal, I'll cut some of that off. But when I put my fence in, and incidentally I got my bushing installed here, that went just lovely. And that bottoms out, I'm about a 32nd of an inch off here. So I'm going to have to make a new fence, drill my holes, and this time I'll drill this probably 1 1/8 inches instead of 1 inch, and then I'll just shoot it nice and flush, basically. Okay, let's see how we did with this one. I shortened my bolt here, installed the pin, and it looks like I need to grind a little bit off that pin. It's not going down all the way. Probably just about a 32nd of an inch is all off of that. So I'll take that up into my garage. I've got a 2-inch wide belt that I'll grind it off on. Okay, one more time here. There we go. Now we're down. Alright, the first thing I need to do is get my fence flush, or at least very close to flush with this table here. And I put a slight back bevel on this so I don't blow this out. And I'll just work this as long as it takes. That literally took about 30 seconds. And once again, you can see the shavings here. I did get a little blowout. I didn't put enough back bevel on that, but this is inconsequential when in the big scheme of things, that this area of the fence, if I get where I want to remove it, I can just take this off and hand plane it down. But for now it's good, but it's perfectly flush. Now here's some food for thought. As I'm laying this out, I'm going center and then about 2 inches from each end, but I'm always going to register off of the bottom. The other thought is this. So if this was my center line for my slot in this direction, and then my slots run perpendicular to that, if I ever want to put a fresh edge on this side, the direction that it's going to move is that way. So I can put the slots here, say, let's just say a 1/2 inch slots on either side, you know, so 1/4 inch on either side of that line. That's going to be plenty. But if I do that, then I want to take the center line toward the plane so that my starting position is nearest the inside part of the slot. Alright, getting ready to drill these holes. And I'm going to drill a hole here for location purposes on my fence. And the way to do this is make your alignment to your main piece, which is the base of my shooting board. The fence, I can check the alignment this way, and incidentally I made a shim 11/16 of an inch thick. Put this in there and bring it down, and I want to be on this center line, which I am. I'm not on that mark, which is fine because I'm registering off of the bottom. And so here's the bottom. This is the bottom of my board. I need to flip it over, and then everything will come into registration. This will be flush, like so. Alright, there's no need to go all the way through this piece, but I did hit my marks, which is good. And I did hit these marks, which is also good. Alright, the two drill bits I'm going to use is 3/4, and I'm not using 5/16. I drilled a test hole at, where is it? Here it is. 19/64. 64 smaller than 5/8 or 5/16, and that is a perfect fit. I like that. So that'll be nice and snug. So that's what we're going to do here. Countersink, probably a 1/16 of an inch, and then drill my through holes. I want to install these T-nuts and check my fit with some bolts before I get carried away and make these slots. So I'm going to tap these in with my method that I use for installing T-nuts, and then come back if everything looks good. Alright, back at the bench here, I did a quick eyeball test and it looks good, but I've got my bolts here. I'm gonna make sure. But doing the eyeball test, when I brought my plane up, I'm about 1/4 inch over the kerf line here, which means my slots have to go that way. I have to bring them back. I actually marked them the wrong way. I'm going to make that change. They need to go this direction. Get my eraser here. Let me check my fit here. That started fine. That one started, and so did that one. Can hand tighten them. This one is a little snug, but it'll go. Beautiful. Alright, my first run at it, my slots were a little bit too short, but I've got them lengthened out now. Plenty of room. And then the good news is all of these can be finger tighted now. So I'll get my table back in here, and we will see how it looks. I want to make sure those bolts are not protruding, which is they are not. Then I can snug these up with a wrench once I get everything in place. Okay, this is one of the pieces I was going to use for my fence, but it didn't quite work out the first time around. Let's just see how we do here with this. Let's just use this bigger square there. That is perfectly square. I got a little bite right there. But now let's see if it's laying that way. Let's check it this direction. You know what? I'll take that too. I'm impressed with the way it cuts. Nice thin shavings. Once you get that thing going, I don't have to worry anymore about putting pressure on it this way. Just keeping my piece tight to the plane and run it down the track. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now that's right on the money. I'll take that all day long right there. All right, thanks for watching.